All right, so I'm back. I think Deezo had to fix his camera. But again, my name's Todd Atkins, and I'm going here with Deezo. We're going to talk about street beefs, which is something that I kind of came across on Instagram, and I had never really heard of it. So I just wanted to interview someone who's doing this stuff to kind of find out more about it, as someone who's a fan of combat sports, and it's kind of like maybe some of the old, some of these makeshift competition settings that we saw back in the early days of combat sports and whatnot. Deezo, is your camera working? All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm here with Deezo, Lil Deezo from Street Peace West Coast. And now, before we start, I always kind of like to let people introduce themselves to people that may not be familiar with you.
Yeah, my name is David, but I go by Lil Deezo. Uh, I'm a boxer from San Jose, California. Uh,
You might need to get a little bit
hey,
closer to your phone. Yeah, just a little bit closer so they can hear you.
yeah, my name's Deezo, or my name's David, but I go by Lil Deezo, and I'm a street beef boxer. Um, right now I'm the 155-pound champ for boxing on the West Coast, and I'm from San Jose, California. And I just love to fight, really.
Now, when I came across street beefs like on Instagram, I had never seen it before. Can you kind of tell me what you know about it?
Yeah, I mean, I came across street beefs on YouTube, and back then there was only East Coast street beefs. So I was just a fan, basically, of the backyard fights. But I eventually wanted to try fighting MMA myself, so I was planning on going amateur, like getting medicals and all that. But then the pandemic hit, and as soon as the pandemic hit, they announced that they were doing Street Beast West. So like since I couldn't fight amateur, I decided to fight in Street Beast. So I signed up, and then I went to fight at Street Beast West Coast One in San Bernardino, and the rest is history, really.
Now, who's behind street beefs? I mean, because I see it's kind of like a backyard setting. You say
Well,
the West Coast and the East Coast. There's someone like actually running this.
yes,
Started
yes.
it.
The main branch is on the East Coast. It's called the OG Yard. It's ran by a dude named Scarface. So he also owns the other branches, but they're ran by different cats. The West Coast is ran by Martin. I'm sure none of you guys really know, but he goes by Tiny Tank, and then also Bushido Zed or Alex. And we have a Washington branch too, which is ran by a dude named Fire Chicken. But they're all under the Street Beast umbrella.
Now, whose backyard is that? Where or whose setup is that? Where is that location?
So on the East Coast, they have like two or three different yards that they use. I think Scarface owns both of them, if I'm not mistaken. And here on the West Coast, we were fighting in Las Vegas at one of the homies' houses, who was nice enough to let us use his backyard to build a sandbox back there. But we got shut down by the state athletic commission, so we had to kind of jump around a little bit. And then our next event's in Arizona, so it's just really wherever we can. So it's not really like one person's backyard.
Yeah, because there was some of that, like in the early days of MMA, like you said, you're interested in going. So, I mean, it
Yeah,
kind of reminded me of some of that I saw, like with the Kimbo and Jorge Masvidal and people like that. Is it getting
right.
bigger, you think?
Of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. Like I said, when I first started watching TVs, there was only one branch. Now there's three. So just in the last 2 years, it's grown so much. Especially with the West Coast, because we got a lot of guys here on the West Coast that, like me, wanted to fight but couldn't because of the pandemic, and that provided us with like a platform. It provided us with attention. It allows us to gain a following, and all like during times where most fighters don't have the opportunity. So it's pretty cool.
Now, so you started out in boxing?
No, I started out in MMA, but I switched to boxing to get better at MMA, and I ended up liking boxing better. Um,
So tell me, how long ago was it that you got into MMA?
well, I mean, my first MMA fight ever was in Street Beef, so not long ago. Um, Back in high school, I would do some jiu-jitsu training with my friends, and I would read Bruce Lee's book, The Tao of Jeet Kune Do, for striking. That's basically it. Other than like some training that I had in the Marine Corps, but that's not really applicable to MMA as much.
When did you go in the Marine Corps?
When I was 20,
Oh,
yeah. So I'm 30 now, so I've been out for
for how long?
like 6 years. I've been out.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. But so you said you were watching it on YouTube. Do you know how long it had been around when you?
Like 9 years or something, 9 or 10 years.
Yeah, I was like really shocked when I saw it that I hadn't seen it before. So, I wanted to talk to you because I had seen you on there. Like, tell me like the first time, because you said you had an MMA fight. I only saw like the boxing ones. But
Yeah.
how did you get into it? Did someone approach you or?
No, like they in one of the Street Beefs videos on YouTube, they made like an announcement saying if you want to fight in Street Beefs, join the group. So I did, even though there was no West Coast branch. I joined the group on Facebook, and then in Facebook they made a post saying that they were starting a West Coast branch and to sign up to go to fight at West Coast. So it kind of just all happened at the perfect time for me because, like I said, at that point I was watching like so much fighting and I just wanted to fight. I just wanted to fight. I wanted to see if I could fight as good as I thought that I could, and I couldn't. No, there's no way. I got my ass beat the first time that I fought, and it was humbling. It was really humbling. So I went straight to training after that.
Yeah, I mean, I lived on Oahu for a long time, and there are a lot of guys like out on the west side of, where a lot of the fighters come from that you see in the UFC, like Max Holloway and those. A lot of them were training that way initially. They were kind of just doing whatever they could. So,
Yes.
when you had the first fight, you said you got beat. Did you think, well, yeah, I'm not getting the kind of training I need, or?
Yeah, I did. And at that time, one of my friends from the Marine Corps, one of my best friends, he's also my wrestling coach, and he lives next door. So his brother-in-law moved him with him right after Street Beast 1, and he's a boxer from Hawaii, matter of fact. And so I started training with him immediately. So we've been training together for like about 2 years now.
And what's his name?
I mean, his name's Hoax. Call him Hoax, but his name's Hoku. He's not like a pro boxer or anything like that, but he's really, really good. He's really, really good. Yeah. So luckily,
Do you know his name, like first and last name?
No, I just know him by Hoku.
I knew a guy who went by that. His name was Ricky Wallace, but
Oh no.
yeah, he was a MMA fighter on Oahu. Hoku means like star.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's a more of a kickboxer and a boxer than an MMA fighter, I'd say. But he knows some MMA, but most stand up that we go through at least. I haven't trained MMA in like about a year and a half. I've just been focused on boxing.
So you guys are kind of training yourselves. You're not at a gym setting necessarily.
Like there's a dojo that I go to hard spar, but as far as technique and everything like that, conditioning, we just do it here at the yard. Like I said, he lives next door. Like I'll just do a little turnaround real quick. So they live over there. I live here, next door. And we have a lot that we all share. So there's lots of training area that we just train. We just train right there with the mitts and the body pad. And that's really all we need,
Now,
At least
West
now.
Coast, Street Beast West Coast, how much does that encompass as far as competitors? How many states, maybe?
The West Coast, quite a few. Like we even have guys coming from like Kansas, the East Coast, like We had a guy come from Mexico. They come from all over the country, really. I don't know about every single state, but a few different states, especially here on the West Coast, like Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, whatever, Washington, before they set the Washington branch up. And yeah, but yeah.
Is it like amateur where guys aren't getting paid, or
Yes, okay.
and people are still coming from far away?
Yep. I was willing to pay, to fight amateur, pay for all the medicals and everything like that. Here it's like kind of expensive. So like, you know, where we already know that if it's not street piece, we go fight amateur, we still don't get paid. So it's like there's really no difference. So we don't mind.
Yeah, you don't have to do all the medicals for this one.
Right. But I mean, we do have to pay for travel and stuff like that, but like I don't know. I think it's okay.
Now, how long do you think you would do street beefs?
Hey, matter of fact, my staff sergeant just joined the chat. What's up, staff sergeant?
How long
But
do you
yeah,
think
what
you
you
do
say?
street beefs in particular?
How long do I think I'll do street beef?
Yeah, before maybe turning into something else, or are you just going to do this? Or
Nah, I mean, like, I would like to start getting paid to fight, because as fun as it is, I can't just fight for free for forever until I'm done fighting. So, like, maybe in another year or two. I'm only 30 now, so I have, like, I'd say about a 7-year window before I can really stop fighting. And, I mean, I don't know if I'm ready to go pro just yet, so I don't want to rush. So maybe, like, another 2 years, I'd say.
now, how many times do they have events?
Uh, for a couple years there, we were doing like one event every month, but ever since the commission started getting involved, we have had to scale back a bit. So once every 3 months or so.
Oh, they're trying to shut you down?
Yes, they sent like the full force of the government to shut us down. I'll just do that. So we don't do Nevada events anymore.
But I mean, in California, can you do them?
And they shut us down in California first, then they shut us down in Nevada.
Even though you're just in a backyard, they still wanted to get involved.
Yes, the state athletic commission.
Yeah, probably because they're advertising it on YouTube, and it's probably getting a relatively big following, I would think.
Yeah, they want their money, I think is what it is. They want their
Yeah,
cut.
yeah, for sure. They want their hands.
That's the only thing I could think of, because other than that, everything's completely legal. So I think like it's just basically just more or less harassment at this point. But like what can we do?
How many people go to these events when you have them?
Not many. It's real strict and private. The
Oh,
fighters can bring one person. We can bring one person each. So if there's like 20 fights, there might be like 30 or 40 people there. Top. That's great. Like usually you can see the amount of people in the fight in the background. It's not the most people. But I mean, it's a sizable group.
now couldn't they just set up somewhere? I guess it would be hard to set up somewhere and have the event without people knowing, to where the commission gets involved.
Yeah, I mean, but we don't really want to like start doing stuff like that, because then it's like we can start getting in real trouble. I think it's smarter to just relocate and just avoid the hassle altogether. But I mean, we could technically just do a pop-up event and then deal with the consequences later. But I and others think that it's better just to play it safe, because like I said, it's not just us. Like there's other branches that exist, and whatever we do reflects back to them. The same.
Now, you kind of say whatever we do. Are you more involved in kind of holding the events too, or are you just saying that because you're a competitor?
No, I'm not involved in holding events. I'm just speaking for Street Beach West Coast as a whole. And but like as far as the people who do run the events, like we're in dialogue all the time. So they listen to the fighters, and, get our opinion on stuff and things like that. It's pretty. So there's like an open door policy. Just all DM each other.
Yeah.
No like restrictions.
I mean, because like when we saw Kimbo doing that stuff, it looked like it was just the guys that were fighting pretty much, and maybe just a couple other people. I don't know if you ever saw those, like Jorge Masvidal was involved in.
Of
So
course, yes.
those you could probably do, and no one would know until after the fact, I guess. But you're worried about the consequences at this point.
Well, because like yeah, exactly. Consequences, especially like this is so important to so many people that there's no way that we would even risk having it taken away like that. Or, heaven forbid one of us gets incarcerated or something like that. We're
Yeah.
just trying to survive in the system, I guess.
Now that you said they're going to go to Arizona, is it that Arizona's not going to have a problem with it?
Right, exactly. There's two. There's another branch that I forgot to mention. It's very new. It's a Texas branch. So Arizona and Texas are the states right now, but just because we're in Arizona doesn't mean we're not West Coast. It's still a West Coast event. But yeah, we're good to go in Arizona.
So if a person wants to open a branch, what do they have to do? Just say, "Well, I'll have them at my house," or how does it work?
They wouldn't be able to open a branch or have it at their house unless they're already a part of the tight circle, the inner circle, because we have to play safe. So like that's not an option for anybody to do. Like yeah, definitely.
How many fights are on one of these cards usually?
Like 16 to 20.
Oh wow!
But on the East Coast they have like 60 fights sometimes.
So it's kind of an all-day event. So if someone was wanting to get wind of it and try to shut it down, they kind of have a lot of time to do so.
Yeah, but I think the laws are safer over there as well.
Yeah, I was kind of like fascinated by it when I saw you doing it and stuff, because it reminded me of stuff I saw in Hawaii because, Hawaii's expensive. There's a lot of guys who want to train that they don't have the money to do so. So they're kind of setting up their own kind of training.
Yeah.
Max Holloway started out that way, training in the garage.
Right.
So
yeah, my coach trained like that too.
Yeah. So
And
a lot of the guys that you would see in the UFC that are, pretty successful are guys that kind of started out that way. So those
and
fond of.
Yeah, that's exactly how I train too. Yeah, exactly. But my coach was trained by someone that had been trained people for their whole entire life in a garage. So yes, it was at home and it was technically self-trained, I guess. But these guys are not, amateurs. They know exactly what they're doing. But yeah.
And I noticed that you guys there's some trash talk going on a little bit. Some of you, I saw where you've done some of that on your Instagram towards some of the competitors. Is it kind of just fun, or is it, more serious for some of that?
I like to talk shit, but I like to make sure that the stuff that I'm talking or the shit that I'm talking is based out of truth. So it really hits hard, But at the same time, it's nothing personal. I don't attack families or love or spouses or children, nothing like that. Just I go directly at the person's sensitive area, whatever because I can read people pretty well, and I can see what some of their insecurities may be or may not be based off how they act in person or what they post. Because I know most of these people in real life, So when I talk shit, I try to make sure that it stings, but at the same time, I let them know that it's still all love at the end of the day.
So most of the competitors, you actually know them. even though you said a lot of them are coming from different areas.
Yeah, because after a while, like, I have about 10 fights in Street Beef, so people start to get familiar with you online, and I've been to the East Coast, so I met a lot of guys in person, and it goes the same way. I know them from their videos that they be posting, and we all kind of just know each other online more than anything, but at the same time, like, you can get the feel for a person online pretty accurately just by looking at their posts. And, for example, like, if a guy is making hella posts, like, with love songs and shit, I know he probably got cheated on or something like that. So I'll use that in my shit talk. But that's me just making up guesses. Or, like, I'll make up little lies, about their camp, saying that one of your sparring partners told me this or told me that. Just make them unsure about who they're training with, stuff like that. Just to get inside their head and just fuck with them.
Yeah. Now, if you guys have any questions for Deezo, let me know. But maybe tell me about, like, I remember you said you got on the Facebook post, but, like, when someone gets into this Facebook group, how long did it take for that is it just something where you just say, I want to fight, and they're like, yeah, no problem?
No, because a lot of guys, they'll come in with, like, absolutely no type of training, and then they'll get beat the fuck up, and then we get accused of creating a mismatch. In reality, they said they had training, but they didn't. So what we require training videos and posts and to be active in the group in order to get selected, because we want to make sure that you're actually involved with it on a day-to-day basis. That way, when it comes time to travel, you're more serious, and that we can see proof and a track record of you being serious with your training and a steady growth and improvement. So it used to be, when we had 0 fighters, pretty much whoever signed up got to fight. But now we can be more selective because we've grown and we have more of a pool to choose from.
But so even just to join the group, you got to kind of, do they just let anyone into the Facebook group, for example?
Well, there's a series of questions that you have to answer, like I'm sure most private groups have. But no, they don't just let anyone in. And if someone does get in, slips through the cracks and starts acting a fool, they'll get banned hella fast.
Yeah, I kind of am curious about it. Like, I'd like to check it out and see what people are saying. But, I mean, because, like I said, when I saw it, it brought back memories. Because, like, I knew a promoter, and your friend may know who he is, but there's a guy on Oahu, TJ Thompson, who was he was the guy for MMA for a long time. But his first events, they literally, like, they had him at, like, a bar. I don't know if have you ever been to Oahu?
No, never.
Okay, because I wonder if you're in the Marines, you might have. But they had this bar. It was right by Pearl Harbor, so you kind of had a mix of, like, military guys, kind of like some fob Asian women, things like that. And they had some fights there. They decided to do some fights.
You like him? You like him? For a minute. My coach.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. We'll see if I know him.
Yeah, okay, brother.
Hey, you're from Oahu?
Yeah, from Hawaii.
Yeah, I lived on Oahu for like 15 years.
Yeah, born and raised by Paul Cuban.
Oh. Yeah, because he was telling me his coach is from Hawaii, and I was telling him, like this street beefs, it reminds me of what you'd see like on the west side.
Right. Yeah, that's everyday living that in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Everybody's crap every day.
Because I told him, like, I saw this on Instagram. I had never seen it before. I couldn't believe I didn't know it was happening. And I was like, this brought back so many memories of, like, the Gussie Lamore fights.
Oh, okay. You mentioned that to him?
Yeah, well, I was about to tell him
back the days yeah, a lot of my coaches fought in the Gussie Lamores.
Yeah.
Nice. Red Rockwell. HMC.
Oh, yeah. Haru's gym.
Yeah, Haru.
Yeah.
So, all my coaches went train on the Haru and Master Todd, Muay Thai. But Hawaii is all bangers. We only stand up. Ground game, that's DJ Penn, you know what I mean? Right on, big ups to DJ Penn, but a lot of the guys from Oahu, man, they like throw, like stand up.
Yeah, so you guys are kind of setting up a thing that's kind of like a Hawaiian style, sort of, the street beefs.
Oh, that's what we have new to offer to the table. Nobody really know about how the Hawaiian style is. And we put in some hard work, but we deal with what we got. We don't have a gym back home like how everybody they can train out here in the mainland. They can train for the rest of their life. Well, not the rest of their life, but like, they can not work. Boy, we gotta work on 9 to 5. Then we gotta find time to train. A lot of the champions in Hawaii, what they do, how we do it.
What do you think about
I
street beefs?
think so. A lot of, if we had street Hawaii, I think that would top everything off. I think it would top everything off. But, and you should know, brother, you should know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not good. I mean, it's good exposure for the guys that's up and coming, beginners that they don't really have training, but they're ballsy enough to jump in that ring and go. You know what I mean? Oh, let's get it on. That's what it's about.
Now,
It's not for everybody, but
yeah. Well, I mean, what would you compare it to, like that you saw on Oahu? What Gussie Lamores? Is that kind of what you think?
no, that's because basically that's all. If you go into that ring, you want to get gloves on, more headgear. That's already like semi-pro in Hawaii to us. I would compare that to kicking it. You heard of kicking it or
Mm-hmm.
man up stand?
Right.
Yeah, I was a steady man up stand up fighter. I was a guy that just challenge and call out all the champions. I don't like train and take step up fights. I like fight the best. I can train my ass off. I will call out the best. And to me, if you're a champion, you're supposed to take on all contenders. And you're not really one champion unless you defend your belt. That's enough said. So,
Yeah, a lot of good fighters came out of man up, stand up, and kicking
yes.
it.
So yeah, I got a lot of family, professional fighters, amateur fighters, but we hope and pray that she gets better and she, comes out on top because nobody wants to fight her right now, boy. So they're looking for guys in mainland to fight her. That's Shabby Gucci. That's my cousin's wife. Cousin is Evan Quizon. He was a 125, 135 kickboxing champion for his great. What he could tackle, what he could draw home.
Yeah.
That's the bloodline I come from. I also have, it is my true marriage, but we're related to BJ Penn. But my blood cousin is KJ Noon, and he lives in San Diego, fights for City Box,
Mm-hmm.
fought Hammers.
Yeah, he's a great fighter.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
But
So
I
now,
figure I moved out here to close to my son. He lives in Colorado. He's boxing right now. Can't be there physically. Train him. Turn all that energy into this guy right here. Try help him out Hawaiian style. You know what I mean?
now from Deezo, like, what would you compare him to as some of the fighters in Hawaii?
You get action. And you know what? If I was to bring him back home, and all these other people in Hawaii, all the locals, when think, oh, bring him on mainlander, think so it's going to be a walk in the park. Especially if they're the Hawaiians, they're the home team. Nah, this guy pack on punch. He gets some power. He's got to tune him up, get cardio up some more. Get off. That's what he's been doing. Never asked for.
So he's pretty easy to train him.
Yeah, pretty easy. Listen, he's a very good listener. And I just try to implement stuff that people already that stuff that he's seen, stuff that he never did see. Both sides, conventional and southpaw. Because to me, if you can do two sides, then you have no problem.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's not it's not easy to have sides, learn both sides, conventional and southpaw. But I think the world should know this. It should. There's only
You
certain
know,
fighters they can do that. But other than that, it reminds me a lot of my training partner back home. He was 135, 145, kicking it, man up, stand up champion. He is John Dunn. If you heard of him.
what was his name?
John Mendonce.
Uh,
Donza.
uh, yeah, I hadn't. Maybe he came along after I left, but
How long were you in Hawaii?
well, I lived there 14 years total, but I was there
Yeah,
different.
you in Kamaina, brother. Kamaina.
Yeah, I was there different times. I went to college there even. But yeah, I left like in 2013, so I've been
Oh,
for a little while.
yeah, I just left like 2 years ago. Hawaii is not the spot no more.
It's just
Trying to,
too
I'm
hard.
trying to let the locals, the Hawaiians, the islanders know that it is opportunity out here in the bigger land.
So, how many
But
guys are you training besides him?
I put everything in only one, and that's all I got right now. We get a lot of other guys that come over and help train too, but the main focus is if you're not fighting, you can help, and that's always on plus. No matter what you bring, beginner level or freaking pro level, you want them all. But main thing I do him and I train the kids. Sometimes we all train the kids. When my son comes from Colorado, we train. So just about getting a body in motion, not lazy.
Now, how many more fights do you think he needs to have in street beefs?
I think he don't need shoes already. Honestly, he jump
But
to
he
the next
seems to
level.
like.
Huh?
He seems to like it though. He's kind of well known in street beefs.
Yeah, that fighter individual himself, how they get there. That's how they promote themselves, and only for the good, always for the good, no matter who you are and what you do. But I getting old, and not like before. But I would want to get into street beef too. No bullshit. I like that.
So you'd rather see
But
him do something else at this point?
yeah, well, as of right now, street beef is the only guys that keep calling us back.
Mhm.
We trying to get into other organizations, and if we have to work harder, we got to work harder. But experience-wise, he has a lot of ring experience already. Which to me is the key too. Different from mat time, you know what I mean? Ground game, mat time, roll, rather than stand up. To me, that's two different cardios. But currently, we just focus on that up cardio. You know what I mean? Because street beef is the champion in boxing. All we're doing right now is boxing.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe you could go like turn to boxing
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah,
to kind of shift to pro boxing, perhaps.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be dope. I wish I had that chance too, but I had baby and I had to give up fighting because
Uh,
I was on the urge of turning pro too in boxing because of my cousin KJ, who was living in Cali out here. Knew I was the Golden Glove champion for 2006, 2007, 2007, 2008. State of Hawaii boxing champion. And scrap everybody from 170 to 205. That's my weight class.
hmm.
Yeah, a long time ago. So I get plenty knowledge that I can pass on to fighters. So, do it.
So, Deezo, do you know when? I know you said there's going to be like a show in Arizona. Are you going to be on that?
Yeah, that's my
Oh,
first title defense.
that where he's at?
I don't know. I don't think where are you at, Todd?
I'm in Oklahoma. Actually, There are some events here you could probably compete in. Not street beefs, but there are some events that would probably give you fights here.
Yeah, and I have one friend that lives all the way out there too, and me being an island boy and seeing all of these like barn fights, street beefs, like I guarantee you they got barn scraps out there. All you need is a sponsor, the fighter. That's it. That's how we do it out here in Hawaii. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I know a guy. He's got like kind of like mixed cards where he's got like boxing, kickboxing, MMA, wrestling, jiu-jitsu matches, and that's some of them are amateur. You probably could fight an event like that. He's
great.
done maybe 3 shows, like they're actual real shows at a casino. They're not in the backyard, but you could probably get on one of those cards. I would say.
Yeah, that's right. That's why even out
Something.
here it's a little bit different out here compared to Hawaii. So that's why I gotta adjust what's out here too.
Yeah.
But back home, I know back home, if an amateur fight over 2 minutes, they're already considered a pro. Out here, 3 minutes, amateur rounds. It's like, that's a whole minute. That's a long damn time. That's different from me. But I would love to go where you stay, east side. We should make our own fights. That's what I do.
Make your own event.
Yeah. But then again, that's a lot of paperwork and a lot of certifications to have.
So, Deezo, I was wondering, like, since you like to kind of like talk trash, who are you going to call out in your maybe for your next? You said you have a title defense, so you must know who it is.
Oh, I'm gonna fight Prince KT in my next fight.
Princess.
Yes. Yeah, Princess Katie. And after that, I got someone planned. You have to check out the after I knock KT out, I'm gonna call him out. Stay tuned.
You're going to call out somebody else.
Yeah, someone else. I gotta keep myself employed.
Great.
So, who is KD?
KT, Prince KT. He's someone who called me out like I don't know, like a year and a half back. Says he wants his respect by fighting a hammer like me. But I don't know, man. That's not the good way to get respect because he's just gonna be laid out cold. So. Plus, like I'm not really trying to go for a knockout. I think that my plan is just go all 5 rounds and keep it intense. If he caves under the pressure, like I think he will, then good. And if not, I'm still gonna win either way.
Has he had fights in street beefs or no?
A couple, like I think 3 or 4. So
Most, right?
yeah, I have one of the highest fight counts
Yeah.
in Street Beefs West Coast. Like, but he has like about 4 fights, I think. Tops, no more than 4. So not too much experience, but yeah.
But
Is
yeah,
he-
brother, I gotta go. I'm gonna go on my run.
Yeah.
Good to meet you, brother.
Yeah, good to
Hopefully
meet you.
one day we can meet up in person and we will do this show.
All right.
But you have a blessed day, brother. Aloha.
Cool.
Yes.
So, is he kind of like talking you down at all, KT?
No, not too much. Yeah, honestly, I thought he would be doing a lot more shit talking, but I think he's a little scared. He's a little scared, or maybe he has something going on at home. But I'm used to him talking a lot more shit to his other opponents. That's for sure.
So you're kind of going light on him right now.
I mean, yeah, basically, like it's not really giving me much ammunition.
Because
I
I
don't
saw
really know
you,
much about him.
you were on a live with some other people, and I saw you guys kind of talking to each other. What was that about?
Oh, that's the East Coast 155 boxing champ. I was supposed to fight him on the 12th with a different organization. Like Hope said, we were trying to get into some other org, and they had done like a partnership or something like that with Street Beef. But then the date got rescheduled to the day after my title defense, which is in Arizona. So I basically had to pick Street Beef's title defense or go and fight on a different organization. And so I chose Street Beef. So that fight got canceled, basically. that guy gave me plenty of ammunition because he started talking shit first, so that made it easier for me.
And what guy was that?
That's Lil Mac, Lil Snack, Easy Mac, Mac and Cheese. His name's Lil Mac.
Hmm. So, as we're kind of winding down this interview, I like to kind of let, if you have something you wanted to kind of leave people with, or where they could follow you, or something that you think's important.
Yeah, you can follow me on IG at Lil Deezo 408. As far as stuff I want to promote, I just want to say what's up to the whole team, all EMC, and much love to Scarface, Martin, Alex, Daniel from Heart in the Fight, and everyone that's, what I'm saying, give me support and show me love.
Yeah, I'd like to, like, it maybe at Street Beefs, if you could do like after your fight or something, that'd be cool if I could talk to you.
Oh, like while I'm there?
Yeah, maybe after it's
Yeah,
over. So that'd be pretty
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. We could do that. We could do that for sure.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
we have it on. It's going to be on pay-per-view as well.
really?
So if you want to watch it, if you want to watch the fights live, you know what I'm saying, that's an option too.
Do you
Depending on
know
pay-per-views.
who's going to be airing it?
Who's going to be airing it?
Yeah, the pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's brought by Heart in the Fight. Heart in the Fight is a platform that gives attention and shows love to street beast fighters from all branches. You know, they got a few different podcasts from each brand on their YouTube channel. They do all the live pay-per-views, and that's run by Daniel. He's the best. He does a fantastic job with his content. So each event is more and more smooth. You know, we had live commentary for the first time on the last pay-per-view, and so this time I'm excited what they're gonna bring.
All right. So, it was great talking to you about Street Beefs. I appreciate you taking the time out to do this. I can't do this stuff without people like you that are willing to do it. And, yeah, like I said, I would love to like talk to you at a Street Beefs event. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I can do a sneak peek back behind.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, it was great talking to you. It was great meeting you. And I look forward to talking to you at Street Beef sometime.
All right, Todd, I appreciate you.
And take care.
All right.
Yep.